look back at the last Forge FC contest.
Simply stunning stuff. And finally, their goal.
Here is Match and Review.
My word, what a rocket.
With Anthony Urciuoli on the Forge Audio Network.
Hey, Forge fans, it's the Match in Review. I'm Anthony Urciuoli. Forge FC securing all 3 points at home at Tim Hortons Field. If you're watching, you can see Tim Hortons Field behind me. What a perfect day for a soccer match. And a perfect day to secure all 3 points, as Forge did. 3-2 against Valour. A little surprising. Now, if I were a betting man, and let me just be clear to those who employ me, I'm not a betting man. If I were, though, I would not have predicted 5 goals scored in this match. I wouldn't have predicted Valour scoring 2 goals, and even Forge scoring 3 against a team like Valour, who had only given up 2 goals through their first 4 matches of domestic play. So a lot to be surprised about. And not only that, I'm just going to read you some of the stat lines here. A lot to be surprised about here. Ball possession, 55% in Valour's favor. Now, this is where it gets... First half, ball possession was at 53% for Forge. Second half, 64% for Valour. However, this is where stats can be deceiving. Dangerous attacks, 71 for Forge, 46 for Valour. Almost double. Attacks that weren't dangerous, but just attacks, 114 to 88 in favor of Valour. So what this tells you is Valour did get some possession, but they weren't that dangerous when they had the ball, despite the fact that total shots on target, 7-6 in favor of Forge. Shot attempts, 11-10 in favor of Valour. There's a lot to be surprised about in this total. I mean, I think, at least for based on what we've seen from Valour this season and the way they like to play, I think we expected just a tighter match, and that wasn't the case. Early on, you saw it. Space everywhere for both clubs. For Forge specifically, the attack, Campbell, Hamilton, Borges were the 3. Campbell and Hamilton, though, when Forge has the ball, it's a 4-3-3 until Forge gets possession and goes on the attack. And then we know Forge likes to do all different kinds of things, especially when it comes to adding attackers to the attack. In this case, Campbell would kind of move to his right. He and Hamilton would almost be like dual strikers in a lot of instances. Borges would man the right wing. Ton of space out there. We know Forge likes to spread defenses out, have their guys near the touch lines. No exception in this one. Borges played wide to the right. Malik, who played left back in this one, he played out wide to the left. And then Becker and Sissoko kind of manned the midfield by themselves. And then Samuel, James, and Rama were kind of your 3 defenders. But Rama was even very involved in this one. Forge, a lot of the time, played with just two defenders. I mean, they played their attacking brand of football. It got them in a little bit of trouble here and there. Valour had their chances. There were some soft spots behind Forge, especially on the counter, but we'll get to that. First thing I put down in my notes, by the way, Borges, man on a mission. Start to finish, he was a threat every time he touched the ball. His ability to dribble around, pass through defenders, I mean, it's as good as anyone in this league. And Borges was out there on a mission. He created so much every time he touched the ball. Didn't necessarily show up on the final stat line, but he was involved. I mean, you had to watch the game to really see how big of an impact he made and how many times he touched the ball. Valour, though, opened the scoring in this one. 30th minute, Keon Williams. Forge, again, a little soft defensively. There was some space. Valour took advantage. They got him behind. And it was Valour who jumped out to a 1-0 lead in the 30th minute. But the theme in this one, when Forge did get scored on, that terrible feeling you kind of have after you give up a goal, it didn't last very long. No exception here. Just 2 minutes after Valour opened the scoring, Jordan Hamilton, clinical with his left foot, just wrapped his foot around, curled it around the keeper. Now, as impressive as the finish was, as clinical as it was, and by the way, we're going to hear from Jordan Hamilton shortly, Abubakar Sissoko forces the issue, gets inside the area, gets taken down actually, You thought maybe there might be a penalty call. And I think Valour did too, because 3 of their guys were just kind of standing around. When Sissoko went down, the 3 Valour players just froze. They stopped playing. As a result, Sissoko, didn't hear a whistle. So he gets up, and you have to see this. He protects the ball from his knees. Because he was so low to the ground, because he was on his knee, he was able to kind of wrap his body around the ball and protect it. And he dribbled the ball while he was protecting it on his knees. Again, something you have to see. Unbelievable skill, control. Sissoko, I mean, box to box, there are not many midfielders that can do what Sissoko can. And he proved it once again. Protects the ball, gives himself some space, lays it up to Hamilton, who makes no mistake. And he ties this game up at 3. Scoring would at least pause for the first half. Again, this weird second half where Valour had all the possession and had all these shots, not something we're used to seeing. It was Forge who opened the scoring in the second half, and this may be why Valour ended up with some of the possession. Maybe Forge was doing a little more defending. Once they got the lead, it was Becker, of course, because Kyle Becker has been, I said Borges was a man on a mission. Becker has been on a mission since he touched the field this season. He's been unbelievable. And in this one, in fine form, once again. Now, Becker scored off the deflection, but it was all of the movement even before it got to Becker. I counted here. It went from James, past to Rama, past to Borges back to Rama, to Sissoko, lit it off to Becker with the finish. Classic Forge. It's Bobby ball. It's total football, and Forge made it look easy. They took the lead. Something we're not used to seeing, Forge giving up a lead in the second half at home. Valour, 74th minute. A little stunning. Some sloppy defending from Forge. Again, they gave up some chances in the second half here. It was Samake with the finish, and this game was level. But the theme of this one is those bad feelings, again, when you give up a goal, even as a fan. They didn't last very long. Just 3 minutes later, Kwesi Poku, Forge using all 5 subs in this one. Poku gets his head on a ball. But again, the beauty of the build and the delivery. Becker, perfect overlap, makes his run, gets him behind the defense, into the area. One of the best deliveries you've ever seen. He makes it look so easy, so casual. He flicks it from the far right to the left post where Poku is waiting. There wasn't a man within 5 yards of him. Free header, and he makes no mistake. Kwesi Poku on the board, and that would be your winning goal. 3-2 the final in favor of Forge. I mean, Bobby thought Forge should have had more, so 3 didn't even do justice. The opportunities Forge had, especially in that first half. I mean, they could have built a multi-goal lead in that first half, but instead found themselves behind. But you have to be able to win in different ways, and Forge can do that, and they proved it once again. Sometimes winning these kinds of matches are more rewarding. When things didn't really go your way, you face some adversity. It's a test of your fortitude, let's say, for your ability to your bounce back ability, and Forge proving it once again. All right, so after that win by Forge FC securing all 3 points, they now sit with 11 after 5 matches. They are on top of the CPL table, which has to be terrible news if you are the rest of the CPL, because notoriously Forge have been slow starters. They have yet, look, we all know, right? 3 titles in 4 seasons, 4 finals appearances. Forge has yet to win their opening match of a season. They still haven't done it. They're a team that just, for whatever reason, it's kind of a chess match with Forge. They get their feet going, and then once they hit the ground running, they hit their stride, forget about it, they're gone. In this one, though, they hit their stride early. And that's bad news for everybody else. Forge now creating some separation in the table. They are 4 points up on Pacific. Pacific, though, at the time of this recording anyway, Pacific has not played their 5th match yet. Valour, this was an opportunity for them to move into 2nd place in the CPL table. Valour is a good team this year. I think Valour has some pretty high expectations, and I think just by watching them early this year, Valour looks like a playoff team. I mean, it's a long way to go, but Valour's had a good year so far, and right now they're in third place on the CPL table, firmly in a playoff spot again. Early, but if you ask me, it really. I mean, I don't think it's ever too early to look at the table. When you can bank points, you bank them now. Looking ahead now, Forge FC, they don't play again until Friday. They're at home, 7 o'clock. Their first ever look at Vancouver FC in person. So, of course, it'll be Vancouver's first trip to Hamilton, to Tim Hortons Field. So, I mean, you can be part of history, right? Right? You can be there for Forge's first ever match against Vancouver. ForgeFC.ca for tickets. And that's Vancouver. 5 days later, midweek match, semifinal, Canadian Championship. Forge will be on the road at CF Montreal. It's a 7 o'clock kickoff. And then 3 days after that, so this is 3 matches in a span of 8 days. They'll be in Ottawa for a matinee. Forge's first trip to Ottawa since the CPL final last year, where Forge secured their 3rd CPL title. So busy week, a bit of a break, right? A little less than a week off, and then we're right back at it with 3 matches in quick succession. And one of those matches, the one against Vancouver, is at home. So you can be there to see it in person. I'll be there. Hope to see you there. Remember, keep it locked onto the Forge Audio Network. Plenty more to come in the upcoming week. We're going to preview that match against Vancouver. We're going to give you the 3 keys to the match, what Forge need to do to secure 3 points against the team out west. And it'll be a lot of fun. So make sure you check back. All right. We'll talk to you soon.
This has been Match in Review with Anthony Urciuoli on the Forge Audio Network. For the latest on all things Forge FC, subscribe on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.